So, a huge new batch of documents from the Jeffrey Epstein estate has just dropped, and you guessed it, it is already setting off a political firestorm in Washington. And right at the center of all of it is this mysterious, leather-bound book that's turning out to be just as bizarre as it is controversial. Let's dig in.
And really, that's the big question here, isn't it? We're going to unpack what this book actually is, why one single page has become so incredibly explosive, and what all of this tells us about the search for answers that's still going on in the whole Epstein saga. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at how this birthday book even came to light. Then we'll dive straight into that controversial letter and the political mess it created. After that, we're going to explore the other, well, very strange stuff in the book. And then finally, we'll look at what's next in this whole investigation. So first things first, how did this book even see the light of day? Well, it all kicked off with some official business from Congress.
See, the committee issued a subpoena, and because of that, they released this massive trove of documents. And buried deep inside all of it was one particular item that immediately got everyone's attention. And that item was this thing people are calling the birthday book. Now, this wasn't some guest list or a financial ledger. No, it was a personal scrapbook, a really, really bizarre collection of memories and messages put together by Ghislaine Maxwell herself. And one specific message in there, well, it's become the center of a huge political fight. Okay, this is where things get really explosive. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of pages, but just one of them has completely taken over the conversation. The letter itself is just so unusual. It's not typed on some normal letterhead. Instead, the words are actually arranged inside the line drawing of a woman's body. The whole thing is designed to be provocative right from the jump. And there it is. That's the sentence that's causing the firestorm. That last bit, another wonderful secret, is being interpreted in wildly different ways depending completely on who you ask. And right away, two totally opposite stories pop up. You've got Democrats on the committee, like Representative Robert Garcia, saying, see, this is proof of a connection the president has denied. But the White House, they came out with a hardline denial, saying flat out that President Trump did not draw it and did not sign it. Period. So with those battle lines drawn, the reaction in D.C. was, let's just say, swift and sharp. It pretty much escalated into a full-blown partisan war of words almost instantly. The Republican chairman of the committee, James Comer, immediately accused the Democrats of playing politics. He basically argued they were just leaking select pieces of information to try and create a scandal. But on the other side, Representative Garcia used it to demand more from the White House, trying to frame this as an issue of truth and what the public deserves to know. And the administration's defense came right from the top. Vice President J.D. Vance called the whole thing a manufactured smear campaign, even comparing it to past political fights and basically dismissing it as just another lie. But look, if we only focus on that one letter, we are totally missing the bigger and frankly much, much stranger picture. This whole book is a truly bizarre artifact, filled with stuff that is just unsettling and all over the place. I mean, the contents just paint this surreal picture. You've got photos of women in bikinis right next to a note from a former president. You have explicit stories about sex next to a chocolate chip cookie recipe, and crude drawings, all of it introduced by a prologue from Ghislaine Maxwell herself. It's this deeply disturbing mix, where the powerful and the totally mundane sit side by side with the perverse. Just to give you a sense of the book's vibe, one page has this really jarring drawing. It's not clear who drew it, but the implication is pretty chilling. The book also has a handwritten note that looks like it's from another former president, Bill Clinton. The note talks about things like curiosity and friendship, which really just highlights the kind of powerful circles Epstein was a part of. And then you get to pages that are just deeply troubling. There are first-hand accounts. One woman describes meeting Maxwell, who she says was collecting breast photos for Epstein, and that she was later told to take her top off. It's entries like these that paint a really dark picture of the world they were living in. So, okay, with all this unsettling information now out in the open, where does the investigation even go from here? Because this release is definitely not the end of the story. And here's a really crucial detail. We are not seeing the full, complete version of this book. The Epstein estate itself blacked out names and faces, and they said it was to protect potential victims. So what or who is under those black bars? We still don't know.
And listen, this book is just the tip of the iceberg. The committee is expecting to release even more crucial documents. Things like Epstein's will, that infamous 2007 non-prosecution deal, pages from his address books, and info on his finances. This story is very much still unfolding.
Which really leaves us with this final thought. This birthday book, with its strange, creepy mix of the powerful and the perverse, it kind of feels like a perfect symbol for the entire Epstein scandal. And as more of these secrets get dug up, the ultimate question is still hanging there. What will they teach us about how power and influence really work in the shadows, and whether justice can ever actually be served?